Hi, my name is Don Chang, and I am a Canadian animator currently based in Japan. And today I will be telling you the story of Takahata's Pippi Longstocking that never was. Back in the 70s, animation giants Takahata Isao, Miyazaki Hayao, and legendary animator Kotabe Yoichi teamed up to try and produce an animated adaptation to Astrid Lindgren's Pippi Longstocking. Although ultimately unsuccessful, the story behind it intrigued me. Searching up on this topic on the internet yielded little or outright wrong information. Jonathan Clements has a good write up on the topic, but that's about it. A lot of people call this the Studio Ghibli PP, and it's not. Studio Ghibli wasn't found until a decade and a half later. Reading through the old interviews published in the book Maboroshi no Nagakutsushita no Pippi, I hope to tell the story of the Pippi anime that never was. Many of the artwork shown here are also from the book, or from the 1985 August edition of the Animage magazine, where sketches from the plant show were first published. Also note that I will be saying Japanese names with their last names first. Swedish author Astrid Lindgren created Pippi Longstocking in 1945, and three of the Pippi books were published in Japan in 1964 and 65, which proved very popular. An animated adaptation was planned in 1971 by Tokyo Movie, or TMS, one of Japan's oldest animation studios, who worked on shows such as Lupin, Akira, as well as Western animations such as Batman and DuckTales. TMS was looking for a director for the planned adaptation. At the time, our three protagonists were working at Toei Animation on the film The Great Adventure of Horace, Prince of the Sun, in 1968, with Takahata as director and Miyazaki and Kotabe as animators. However, Horace bombed at the theaters, and Toei made sure that Takahata would never direct again for them. Takahata himself had recently read the Pippi books, and he really liked the everyday magic aspect of the stories. In addition, the child at heart theme is a concept huge in Japan, and Takahata really saw that quality in Pippi. This caused him to jump ship over to TMS, where he became director for the planned Pippi series. Takahata also brought over his two animator friends to TMS, causing some uproar back at Toei as some of their top talents leave. The three then moved to the production arm of TMS, Studio 8 Production, nowadays known as Shin-ei Animation, who are known for the series Doraemon and Crayon Shin-chan. A script for the pilot as well as notes on the characters and the world of Pippi were written by Takahata. Miyazaki fleshed out Pippi's world with his image boards, also known as color boards or beat boards. Miyazaki also drew many image boards from his own interpretation of the source material to flesh out the world of Pippi outside of the scope of the planned pilot, and this is why you will see artwork not related to the script or the original materials. Working off the extensive notes on the script for the pilot that Takahata had created, Kotabe worked on the character designs, drawing over 30 different versions of Pippi as well as other minor characters. Kotabe worked with Miyazaki on the designs, and the two would influence each other with their drawings. He also tried to figure out how Pippi would look like while moving, such as these sketches of her from the back with the suitcase. Takahata figured that due to the oversized shoes that Pippi wears, when she walks, the shoes would feel as if they were just about to fall off. He also figured that Pippi would be the type of character that would walk with one foot on the sidewalk and one on the curb on the road just because of her personality. Kotabe worked those out, as well as other actions of Pippi, such as eating toast in the morning. Based on Kotabe's designs and Takahata's notes and script, Miyazaki drew image boards to help imagine the story visually. To further help him with his task, the studio sent him to Sweden, both to meet with Lindgren to get permission for the adaptation and also to serve as a location hunt so that he can learn more about the world that Pippi lived in. In Visby, on the island of Gotland, able to only spend about 3 hours, Miyazaki took a long walk before resting at a cafe. He remarked that the town looked like something out of Grimm or Andersen's fairy tales, which is Hansa-era style architecture. In Stockholm, he would remark about how the women walking around in the early morning reminded him of fairy tale witches. And in Skansen, Miyazaki spoke about the old houses and the traditional way of living he observed. In the tiny farmhouses, the only furniture would be just a bed and table. He found the whole experience greatly interesting. However, he was never actually able to meet Lindgren, the primary reason he was there for. She was apparently too tired, Miyazaki's words. They continued pre-production on the project despite the Sweden trip not working out, hoping for Lindgren's blessings one day that would never come. It is not exactly known why Lindgren did not want to move forward with the project, but it is most likely due to a poor quality adaptation of the Pippi franchise earlier that had caused Lindgren to be more protective of her work. Miyazaki used his experience going to Sweden as a reference and created his own Sweden for Pippi's world. Things such as Pippi's house don't actually exist in Sweden, but are more of what Miyazaki thought of what a fairy tale like European house would look like. Some parts are based on real houses though, such as the raised veranda porch, which exists in Swedish houses to deal with winter snow. In the image boards, Miyazaki wanted to express the simple Swedish life that Pippi would have lived. He would figure out how Pippi would do everyday actions like waking up, washing one's hair with a basin and pitcher, doing her braids. He also found the traditional wood-fired stoves in Sweden very charming, and drew the pancake making scene from the script based on his observations. Pippi is a character that lives every day as if she was playing. She is always having fun and is never bored. Miyazaki said that he wanted to try a lifestyle like that. Miyazaki also had some issues deciding on the color of the sky. If he made it too blue, it would diminish the brightness of the characters and other background elements. He thought about having the sky almost like a cloudy white to give the scene a more pastel feel. However, during sunset, he found that a rich blue worked pretty well. Kotabe then created test cells that would have told of how the final look would be. He went as far as deciding the color palettes for the cells. Based on Miyazaki's image boards, Kotabe also wanted to create a light pastel feel. He experimented with his technique to leave the rough pencil lines from the layout in the background painting process, allowing it to stand out despite how light the colors are. The process can also be seen repeated with 2013's Princess Kaguya's backgrounds, which was also directed by Takahata. Because the three quit their jobs at Toei to work on Pippi, not receiving permission from Lindgren was a huge blow. However, a lot of the work done was reincorporated into other projects. The improving Sino-Japanese relations in the late 60s and 70s brought pandas into the island nation, starting Japan's panda craze. This created a market for Takahata's next show, Panda Ko Panda, where our three protagonists reused many of the elements of Pippi, from the main character's personality as well as many of the designs and story elements. Furthermore, the idea for the large swing was reused in the opening to the Heidi animation. Also in Heidi, the old mountain man's house and interior, as well as the grazing grounds of the goats, can be found within the design documents of Pippi. In addition, parts of the city in Kiki's delivery service is pretty much just Gotland's Visby. According to former Studio Ghibli president and producer Suzuki Toshio, after Miyazaki became more well-known due to winning the Academy Award, the offer to use the Pippi property came from the Lindgren estate. But both Miyazaki and Takahata said that it was too late. But Miyazaki also said, "But Rania," referring to Lindgren's other popular book. And from that, we have to thank for the Rania, the Robber's Daughter television anime adaptation directed by Miyazaki Goro. A lot of people have probably seen the Western Pippi animated television series and films from the late 90s. Personally, Pippi is one of my favorite properties. During my childhood, I would read the books at the library, and growing up in the early 2000s, I would watch the animated television series, which was produced by Canadian animation giant Nelvana. It was a solid show with decent writing and animation quality, and I'm not just saying that because I used to work for Nelvana. However, those familiar with the original work will find that the interpretations of the characters became more and more one-dimensional in the animated series, especially the villains. And because of that, I think it would still be interesting to see Takahata's interpretation of Pippi, which might prove more faithful to the original work. So anyways, I hope you found this video interesting. If there are any corrections needed, please let me know. I recently started a Twitter account which you can follow here. I also started a Patreon if you would like to support me financially. I'll probably post some old design documents for various Japanese anime here and there. But don't worry if you can't, I'm sponsored by, a day job, and I create videos whenever I have the time. I've been doing some work on several upcoming television animes, so I've been keeping busy. But anyways, take care.